See, today, our special guest, none other than the incredible, I got to put my glasses on because he's so cool, the fantastic, the amazing Mr. Kevin Harrington out of Queens, entrepreneur, owner of K&N Jams Entertainment, music director, writer, arranger, producer. This man has done it all. Put your hands together right now, live on Funk from the Front Seat on IBM TV. I have none other than Mr. Kevin Harrington. What's up, brother?
What's good?
I'm all right, man. Everything is good, man. How you doing up there?
It's all good. You know,
Good. Welcome to the IBM TV family, man. Glad to have you. I see you on the grind in the studio. That's always beautiful. I love to see that, man. It's so good to see your face. I haven't seen it in a minute, you know. So I'm hoping that, you know, everything up there is cool with your family and friends. How's that going?
Everything's good. You know, everybody maintaining staying healthy.
Yeah, that's best you can do. Yeah. I've been following a lot of stuff. Obviously, you know, I'm here, you're there, and we talk all the time. So, you know, we have a lot to get into today, man. But, you know, my love for you, and people need to know this, man, goes deeper than any music thing or anything. It's a brotherhood thing, man. And I can't ever thank you enough for being in my life and, you know, all the good things that you've done for me and my family. And I just wanted to put that out there at the top, let people know, you know, you're the genius behind the music that people see that I do. I want everybody out there to know this is the man that does my production and arrangement, you know, writing, producing the music, and this is the guy right here. This is the guy right here, man. So what you got popping new, man? What you been working on? I saw the Groovalicious project ready to come out.
Yeah, finally. I'm glad about that. I hope it does well for him.
Yeah,
we worked over that over some time.
Could you turn your mic up just a little bit? Just a pinch. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Thanks, man. You know, my hearing is shot. So
Okay.
Tell me a little bit more about John's project, man.
Actually, it's been over some years since we did it because I was on and off the road. So we did that. We started that when I was still living in New York.
Right.
And so actually, you know, John, for whatever reason, took his break and me running. And then, you know, we finally added some more tunes and I actually remixed it.
Right.
And
I heard that snippet, man. That snippet is hot. And see, the thing about you, like what you produce, everybody knows it's your thing, your style. As soon as I heard it, I was like, now that's going to be hot, you know. And John's actually going to come on this show next week and do some stuff for us, man. So yeah, I'm very grateful, you know, to be sharing this platform. It's a blessing, man. So give me a little history, man. You know, a lot of people that may be new tuning in again with Mr. Kevin Harrington of K&N Jams Entertainment. And give us a little history about how you really got into your whole music thing.
So I'm going to start with it's K&N Jams.
K&N Jams, yes. Sorry.
K&N Jams, because K&N Jams is Kevin Nancy, so that's my partner in that entertainment company.
Right.
My personal thing is KHX Music.
Okay.
So that's Kevin Harrington.
Thank you for correcting that. I apologize.
Right. Yeah, no problem. Kevin Harrington Experiment. So that's basically me. I don't like to be stuck in a lane. Since as a drummer, as growing up listening to all types of music, I kind of like to write and produce all kinds of music. So that's why I call it experiment, because I'm
right.
You know, here, like when you listen to John's project, if the first track is not where it's gonna end.
Right.
With that, like he can promote a smooth jazz. The same thing on my project. I got house on there. I got smooth jazz. You know, funk, because you know that's what I like. So in his project, he goes from smooth to rock to just straight fusion, which is
right.
The only track that I wrote on there is the fusion tune.
Okay.
Produced everything.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm a South Jamaica Queens boy, you know, Omar, Marcus Miller, all of them, all the cats out of there, Tom Brown. So that's where I started. I'm a few years behind them, so I grew up watching them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Richard Ruiz was probably the most influential drummer that I was under because he lived on my block. I had two drummers on my street. One lived right across the street. They both were named Richard. Richard Current was from a group named Creative Funk. Anybody out of Jamaica Queens knows them.
Right.
Right. And so Richard Ruiz, but by that time, at my age, Richard Current was already on the pro level. So
right.
They were traveling, and so I used to spend a lot of time hanging out at Richard Ruiz's house. So you know the Marcus Millers and at that time Najee, he wasn't called Najee then, but you know he come out of there. Tony Hinch, so many cats, you know, came through his basement that I got to know, and a lot of great musicians who you know kept playing or stopped playing, but it was the Mecca, man.
Yeah. Can you lighten your screen up a little bit, just a pinch, or probably, a little bit light?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, just turn on the light because it's just.
Yeah. We need a little bit. We need to see you. I know you like to stay in that zone when you're working, but for this interview, I want everybody to see you. Yeah, because I know how you like to work.
I pretty much.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
In the dark.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. So we was talking about something about 2 months ago, which is very cool. And you had mentioned that Queens, the guys had basements, and everybody was practicing there, and everybody would be into that. Tell us a little bit about some of your basement experiences and how your bands and everything, you know, got together and what you guys were trying to kind of put out there and make your mark.
I mean, since there was like bands on every block in the neighborhood, and you know, at that age, I stayed pretty much in our area, but like anywhere in Queens you go, there was bands. So as I got older, I started to go into Hollis and Queens Village, Springfield,
right?
You know, musicians and bands all over there at that time. And so at my age, we caught the tail end of that because a lot of clubs were starting to close in Queens.
Yeah.
So, say in my in the earlier days, I'm talking like elementary school, we had clubs like Club Ruby and stuff like that there, so you didn't have to go to Manhattan.
Right.
So bands had plenty of places to play. So by the time we got, I could never say we even got old enough to play in them because we was doing clubs in Brooklyn at 15. You know, we wasn't old enough to be in there.
Yeah.
They were high. I mean, that's just how good, you know, people were then. We were good enough to play in there, just not old enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of times the owner was like, just don't let me catch you out by the bar. You know, he ain't trying to lose his license, but we good enough to
right.
So, you know, we was doing that. We did Parks Department, which means you played all over the city in the summer. And I want to say we came up when hip hop was starting to get big, starting to get popular.
Uh-huh.
So we would be on shows with a lot of DJs.
Right.
So, you know, that's when that thing happened at the same time. So at all the block parties, it was band and DJs. So towards the end of the 70s, they started to phase the bands out. The bands just went to the clubs.
Yeah.
You know, it started to turn into the whole DJ thing.
And
we started getting more and more to recording. You know, so then it was like heading towards the studio, you know, trying to get a record out.
Yeah.
You know,
I know we used to always envy the city, like growing up on Long Island, even though it was a lot of talented musicians. It wasn't a lot of venues for freestyling. Like when I first got into it heavy, I was doing the thing right out of high school with the Tramps, the backup band, NYC Review, and it was all disco. And you're a drummer, phenomenal drummer. You know, for those who don't know, he's, you know, the drummer that drums with Nappy Head Funk Army amongst many, many others. But I remember that discipline, learning that straight thing was how we were able to work. And as a drummer, you know, coming up back then, you guys always had a little bit more leeway. There was much more creativity towards the city. So did you actually get into any disco when you first started out to lock down your pocket?
No.
Okay.
I came so where most cats, I guess most of the cats today kind of come through church.
Yes.
Yeah, I played in church, but at that time I couldn't even find a keyboard player who knew Chick Corea was. So
right,
showing you how early that was.
Yes.
So I'm 13 listening to Mahavishnu Orchestra. They ain't have a clue.
Right.
So
right.
Nobody knew who Narada was in that whole thing, and Billy Cobham, from where I was, from the churches that I was in.
Yeah.
So again, I can assume the older guys probably knew.
Yeah.
But so, going from there, being a fusion head, I ended up playing with other fusion heads. So basically we started, let's play the top 40, but we was playing it like fusion cats would play. So
right.
I'm trying to play Shane by Evelyn Champagne King, and I'm putting Billy Cobham rolls in there,
Hey, yo, but I can only imagine, because I went to a lot of your block parties over there. I can only imagine how intense that must have been, and I'm sure people dug it.
Right. I mean, but that was the energy back then. I remember we was doing, we was on in Queens at Ajax Park. So we was on a thing with Jack Sass, which was
right.
Mike Murphy and them at the time, Lala, Liz, and Vic Vaughn. So that's actually when I met Omar. I think I was 14. He played
okay.
And was like, yo, your playing was great. I knew him by name, but I had never met him at the time. So, and that's how I was playing stuff.
Yeah.
But as I started to play behind more singers, is when I started to realize, especially the group. So when I started playing with groups that had choreography, I had to find all that stuff out.
Yeah.
So that's what started teaching me that was, okay, they know you can play, but we need you to play what we need you to play. That's a big difference. And so it wasn't about me, it was about the music. And so it was just a different factor. So drummer-wise, I started listening to a lot of Harvey Mason.
Right. Yeah, he was the cat.
Right. You start hearing cats that is like, okay, you can be slick and stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
So that is when I started picking up that stuff. Okay, I want to keep myself interested, but I got to play what needs to be played musically. So it's about listening to Harvey and Steve, and cats that can keep it interesting, but not disturb the groove. So
that's right.
I work with singers, the more and more I start to learn that, and like you said, you start getting more calls.
Yeah.
Start getting more calls for what?
Sonia Murphy down in Texas says hello to you. A lot of people are going to be signing on and off. So if you see me waving, I'm just waving to them. I'm not cutting you off or nothing. One of my favorite guys back then was, and I didn't know who these guys were because on Long Island, couldn't really find anybody that was doing the whole fusion thing like you cats. I love the Mike Clark from Herbie Hancock. For some reason, that thing, and him and Garibaldi, but Garibaldi was a little bit over my head. But when Mike Clark locked that in with Herbie and Paul Jackson, to me, I was like, okay, that was my door to get through and walk through that fusion market. And thank God, because when I finally met you guys, and we're going to get into that, we all had the same in common. You and I have been knowing each other almost 20 years. For people who don't know, I'm talking to Mr. Kevin Harrington, K&M Gems Entertainment. So, I'm dyslexic. I told that thing be messing with me, man. But anyway, welcome to the show, Funk from the Front Seat. So, when you were doing, and I'm going to get into this a little bit, you told me a story about 2 weeks ago that I never knew. You said you played for the Pope in Italy. Tell us about that.
Okay, so it was in Bologna. I want to say 97. Yeah, 97. So at the time I was MDing Freddie Jackson.
Right.
He was doing a break. So a friend of mine, JC, guitar player, called me to do that gig. Me and Reggie Washington, great bass player. I think he lives overseas now. And he heavy jazz cat. So at the time, that particular Pope would be the first time that a Pope had been back to that part of the country, and I don't know where. He actually was from there.
Right.
You know, I don't know how long, but I don't know the story or reason why he, you know, Pope hadn't been back there. So I was with Harlem Gospel Singers, and we went and performed. Bob Dylan was on the gig. It was a lot of people. It was huge, man. It was like
that was deep.
I would say it was probably the largest audience I've played for.
Right.
It was on an old airstrip. So an old
wow.
Airstrip, and the people just went back to like
wow.
just as far back as you can see. You know,
wow.
and I'm like, wow, the people way back there just wanted to be here because they can't see nothing.
You know? Yeah.
Nothing they can see.
But, that must have been an incredible, energetic, memorable experience. And you just told me this. I never knew that. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because that's an amazing thing, brother. You know, you have so many lists of accomplishments, and we'll get to them. And going back to Freddie Jackson, when you were MDing for him, you know, tell us something that most people don't know when it comes to being a music director of a band, a touring band, especially. You know, like for instance, because you have that extra added responsibility of keeping everybody tight and still knowing all your parts as well. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, that wasn't the hard part for me, because that's how I learned how to play.
Right.
You know, so the fact that I don't read, you know, much like Dennis Chambers don't read.
Same here.
You know, right. So you pretty much listening to all the parts, because a lot of them, you know, for me, they were a roadmap. Like I could like recognize the guitar part and knew where I was at.
Right.
You know, it wasn't always about the drums. A lot of times I didn't listen to the drums. I listened to the drums to know what the pattern was. But arrangement, I was listening to everything else.
Right.
You know, you're closest with the bass player, but you know, you're listening to melody, like, so you know the song because you have to know the arrangement.
Yes.
And you know, at the same time, if I'm playing a group that got choreography, same thing. I could watch the choreography and know where I was at in the song. Not even have to listen to it. Even if they were just going through it, I knew where it was. You know, so becoming MD, that was the easy part. The harder part is dealing with personalities.
Yeah.
You know, people are pain in the ass. You gotta tell you. So it pretty much wasn't gonna work for me. So
right.
You know,
I know.
The funny story was they started calling me Ike. You know, because
see, I knew there was a story there. I knew it. Tell us. I knew. I could feel it.
You know, I mean, it's just like I wanted it right. I wanted it right.
Right. Finding you.
Well, you know, I wanted it right. There was no excuse, which is why when you get a certain caliber of musician, you expect that.
Yeah.
Dude, learn the song. Know what you. I mean, what's so hard about that?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hit you if you didn't have any time. That's just not me. I didn't have time to learn it.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't worry about it. I'll get somebody who does have the time to learn.
Exactly.
Me, you know, and because that's the way I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come knowing it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You know, and so back to the Pope gig, I actually did that gig without rehearsing.
Okay.
So I sat in their rehearsal, in the choir rehearsals, and listened. And you know, Reggie was playing, and the other musicians were playing. And so I was sitting there because the only drums was actually gonna be on stage, which I was using Bob Dylan's drums kit.
Right.
So I was just listening. I mean, again, it ain't rocket science. Like gospel is not foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? That was the other beauty of listening to all kinds of music. Like stuff like I'm familiar with it, but I had to learn the arrangements of it.
Right.
So, you know, it was cool. You know, on the same thing, I did some shows with Kelly Minucci from what's the name of the group? Oh gosh, that's so jacked up. Can't remember. Him and George Gender. What the hell's the name of their band? Anyway, I ended up doing day shows with no rehearsal, which I'm sure he had to be scared to death because he didn't know me. I was recommended by the bass player Jerry Brooks.
Right.
And
right.
I was taking Lionel Cordew. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Drummer, great drummer. He played with them, but he had something else to do. So I just stepped in, didn't make a rehearsal. He didn't meet me until we were on our way to the show. Nobody had heard me play but the bass player before. So
okay.
I kind of laughed at that. I was like, because he's not going to know what I sound like until he counts it off.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of being a drummer.
Special effects. Effects. Everybody listening, they know that group. Right. I always found that so funny. I was like, especially for him, he's like, well, here we go. Do or die.
Yep.
In fact, that was right here in Philly.
Yep.
It turned out good, man. So the blessing of learning how to play and really listen to music and know arrangements and, again, like you said, the discipline.
Yeah.
Playing behind somebody and realize what your purpose and your job is.
Yep. You're when I first met you, you came in and actually you were the reason that Nappy Head actually was able to go after that, because I got off the kit, you came on the kit, and I realized right away, I was like, you was a technician of what you did. That's why I gave you that nickname, because a lot of times, when we had started, doing our thing or whatever, I would be listening to you, following you, just listening to what you was doing while everybody else was jumping around, having fun. In Atomic Dog, I was vibing off you. Because you know how cats, and I used to always get pissed because they would start out and then everybody just got into just the party part of it. Right. And John and I used to laugh about this all the time. He'll tell you the story. And one day I looked around, and by the time we had got halfway through the song, nobody was playing. We was at the Funky Fish. Everybody was into the Atomic Dog thing. And I was like, oh, thank God Kevin is there to hold it down, man. And I owe you a lot for that, because your professionalism, your technical skills as a drummer, is through the roof, but also your business mindset, because I tell people all the time, you're the gentleman, my go-to. You're my business guy. When I have a business question, when I have business concerns, even now the projects that we're doing together, I want people to know Mr. Kevin Harrington, this gentleman right here, is the guy that I look to and turn to as far as like guiding me through the rough waters, things that I'm not sure of. And I'm sure a lot of people have told you that over the years. We worked on, something a while back, Zachariah Cloud9, and now it's back out there again. When we was doing that project, tell people a little bit about how we used to go in the studio and then used to say, okay, that's it. I could leave, and then I would come back next week, and you would have the whole thing done. And it amazed me. It really did, man. So tell me a little about Mark says hello, by the way.
What's up, Mark?
Mark is watching.
Hey, Mark had a lot with helping me, as far as recording. He taught me a lot. Him and Paul Froelich taught me a lot. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, so I mean, again, we come from the same era. Mm-hmm. So like you said, we vibe easy. So I kind of understood what you were looking for.
Yeah.
And of course, if that wasn't, I know you would tell me. That's again the beauty of working with cats that you vibe with, understand. Like John, like Groovalicious, is I don't have to tell him much. That's why he's that go-to dude for me. I don't have to tell him much. He'll hear the track. Yeah. I could just John needed to I could just move my shoulders. I needed to do that.
Right.
I don't tell him. I needed to do that, man. I'll make that face. He knows what I'm talking about. Or I'll go Freddie Stone. It's Freddie Stone, or it's Curtis Mayfield style. And he knows what that means. But, of course it's going to be funky because it's him doing it. But he understands what that is.
Yeah.
So after you came, basically, like, this is the foundation. From playing in Nappy Head, I knew what you was about. And it went from there. It was like, all right, I'm going to put this down. And basically, it still came to see what Zach says. It still had to come to, is this where you're trying to go? Is you with the feeling, the vibing, because you know it's not an exact science, but you know you want to get basically as a producer, I want to get what's in your mind. You know that to me that's the thing, to try to get what you're trying to articulate to me.
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, that's a tremendous gift you have, because I've heard various works that you've had your hands on and in and still doing, man. And I've never heard anything where I could say, you know, that didn't really fit what the artist wanted. And that's a gift unto itself. Let me tell you, God definitely dipped you all in it, brother. You're a quiet brother, you know, and you know, but man, oh man, oh man, oh man, what you have to offer to the music world and you know, spread your vibe is totally incredible. If you guys don't know, look him up, K&N Jams Entertainment, Kevin Harrington. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram. He's all over the place. He's our special guest today on Funk from the Front Seat. So tell me a little bit about this Eric J, designated hitter for the funk. I saw the video. You know, I listened to the music and he was rapping and he took it old school. You know, what influence did you have on him about the actual shaping of the music in the video?
So, okay, that in the climate that we're in, right? And just let me say this as a black man that's been in this country for a while.
Go for it.
Climate's always been this. So,
yes.
So I don't want to say like, oh, all of a sudden this arrived and it's like, no. That I can remember, it's always been this.
Yep.
You know, and yet you navigate through it and you still progress, you do what you got to do, you know. But again, I go back to when Clifford Glover, my age, 12, shot in the back. Okay, so we've been dealing with this. So
yeah,
it's just the fact that you get to a point where, you know, you speak out, you march, blah, blah. So this was more so, you know, I know Eric J comes from the earlier period, which is what I prefer. Not knocking any rappers doing their thing. Y'all do it however y'all get it out and y'all say what y'all say. But being that we come from where it started,
yes,
we have a better understanding. So we see from where it started to where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that what I wanted to do, Eric J was like the only cat I knew.
Yeah.
You know, that comes from that. So I was like, yeah, I want to do something. I'm not a rapper. Eric J's a rapper. I know him. I said, let me ask him. I basically gave him my idea.
Right.
So, I asked Jay, I said, yo, what is it that you like? So, you know, he kind of gave me like, because I think we have about 4 tracks. But when I sent him that track, he wrote to it the fastest. Because you know, it touched him. So my thing was, like, we really need to put something out for people to kind of focus on. It got to go back to the Panthers' way of thinking.
Yes.
You know, so we see how things come out. Public Enemy, my favorite. We see how
mine too.
When that was hot, but they kind of pushed it, not them, but the media made sure they pushed it to be a fad. So, you know, okay, everybody's all hype, Spike's movies out, blah, blah, blah. Let's make it a fad and they'll be looking to go somewhere else. See, that should have never happened.
Yeah.
It become a way of life, but that's what they did. So you bring in the other style of rap and everybody forgets about that whole thing.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Basically, I told him, I said, well, this is what how I want to do. I gave him the platform and, you know, I kind of told him, I said, yo, we need to do something on this. And so he was down. So video-wise, being that, you know, the pandemic had already started, I wasn't coming up there. So I told him, yo, just shoot yourself doing it. I'll take care of the rest. So all of the archive Black Panther stuff, I did that part.
Okay. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, and he sent me that. And so I put that all together. And it was basically like, you know, I mean, you saw the video. It's like, yo, stay on code. Stay focused.
Stay on code, yes.
You know, and I made sure that we talked about the nonsense that went on with the friggin' Popeye's chicken stuff. It was like, are you kidding me? Really? This is what it's come to? That we friggin', you know, hurt each other over that? So, you know, it was like, wow. It's time. Something got to be said, and that's usually what music is used for.
Yeah. The best music I always feel is not always the complicated over the top pop stuff. It's always that stuff that you know, and I've touched on this, that comes from a struggle, that's built out of a struggle. The hippies did it, you know, with all the folk stuff. And now, you know, because I was working on a song the other day and I didn't send you the lyrics yet. Again, we're with Mr. Kevin Harrington on Funk from the Front Seat. And I, you know, I said, you know, one of the lines in it is "Wake up, 2020. It's 8:46." You know what I'm saying? And because of this, as a black man, I'm a black man, you know, and you, like you said, we've navigated these waters, but our struggles and everything that we've been through and fight for have always been, and until we get this right. And we're not going to get too deep, but we have to touch on this as human beings and as black men in our country. When we see people blatantly just disregarding our basic rights as human beings and lying and covering it up, just down here in Wilmington, 2 cops were caught over their open mic cam talking about they're going to assault, you know, get assault rifles and all of that. It does have an effect on what we write as artists.
Right.
And
I put it like that.
And yeah, and it's emotional. And I was just telling the producer Kim this the other day of IBM TV. We was talking, and I sent her a text or something, and we were talking about the psychological effect of it. Tell me, in your opinion, the psychological effect of systemic racism.
Oh, wow.
I know it's deep, but you know I got to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, because you know what, it depends on what. It's so much involved.
Yeah, it is. It's layers.
Your local, your immediate surroundings and upbringing have a lot to do with how you handle problems.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I had the type of parents who I never saw panic. I'll put it like that. Both my parents from the South, mother from Georgia, father originally from South Carolina. I even went to school for a year in Georgia. So I get it.
Right.
I've seen it. Even with my grandparents and my uncles, I seen the way they handle things. So I have certain uncles that I came up, you know, watching how they handle things. I got that militant uncle who hit me to, you know, a lot of history, stuff like that. So it's different. Because your surroundings have a lot to do with it. Opposed to who came up with emotional surroundings. That everything that happens affects them mentally.
Yeah.
Everything don't affect me mentally that I show. It's
right.
More like, this is the problem. Let's look at the solution. Now, I've learned that over the years to stop regurgitating the freaking problem. That's going to be
there. Yes. Okay. Thank you for saying that.
So the same thing Martin and all of them were talking about, it's still here.
Yeah.
All right. So we still working on solutions. So, you know, to where some people where everything, you know, like they're very emotional of how they handle things. I mean, that's just not me. So I can't really, you know, kind of dictate how people should act. I can't do that. That's the same way when you lose somebody you love. I can't tell you how to grieve.
Yeah.
You know, same way you can't tell me how to grieve. If I ain't falling all over the floor, oh my God, don't tell me that I didn't love that person.
That's right. That's right.
You know, I'm not bottling it up. It's just a certain way I handle things. You know, my daughter passed.
Yeah.
Most people didn't even know because I ain't all over the place. And every time, you know, I open my mouth, oh my God, I can't believe she's gone. But none of that for me. You know, I dealt with it in my own way. It was like I accepted the fact she ain't coming back. And if heaven is what it's supposed to be, why would she want to come back?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, yo, I wouldn't want nobody to come back to this. Am I gonna miss you? Yeah.
Yeah.
If the son's here, we gotta do our job now.
Yeah.
You know, but I know how it wears on people. You know, anger is natural. However, if you don't focus it to use it as a way to make you really focus on what you got to do instead of just, losing it, then we kind of go in circles.
Yep.
So again, it ain't the first time we heard we got to put the black dollar back in the black community. It ain't the first time we heard that. Come on, this goes back. This precedes us. Again, you can show Tulsa, Oklahoma. We saw what happened with it, but they had it. So let's focus on that. We know what they did. They came and destroyed it. My point is, yeah, but they had it, which means why can't we do it now?
That's right. Yeah.
We got much more resources than they had back then.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I mean, it's hard to say how people deal with it, and again, because of social media, you're really seeing how often it happens.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
That's right.
Before you had to depend on the newspaper, we knew who controlled that. So you wasn't hearing these stories like like you do now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Unless you did have a name or was a celebrity back then, that's when we heard about cases like
that.
It's it's always been going on.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not a fact of I don't care. It's a fact of it's always been going on.
Yep.
So I could easily say, where the hell you been? This has always been going on.
Yep. That's right. I know a lot of the people down here, and we're having our protest, and I see a lot of the young people out, which is good, of all races, creeds, and colors, genders, this and that. And I'm kind of happy to see that because, Kayla and Maya nieces, they're 12 and 16 now. So they're growing up, and all they've ever known was Barack. So to them, they don't really get why this is happening in this climate. And you and I talk about this all the time privately, man, about a lot of the young people lack that self-esteem thing. And I want to get into that a bit because there are a lot of young people that are watching the show. And this is not a slap or a knock at anyone. This is just from a point of view of, okay, let's try not to utilize the visceral and get more with the mental. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I would say that, again, we got to look at how media brainwashes.
Yep.
So they make a brand to the person seem worth more than their life or them.
Amen.
So when somebody will go out and kill somebody who's driving whatever car or wearing whatever sneakers, so that you feel like you're going to be a bigger person, that to me, that's where the problem, the low self-worth.
Yep.
Right? I say to young people, you're bigger than any brand. Create your own brand. You are a brand.
That's right.
Put
Amen.
your own name on your stuff.
Yep.
And and again, because people don't recognize when you watch commercials, that's what it's doing. It's telling you that you're not any good unless you have this.
Yeah, programming. Yep.
Straight up. Or you're the one behind the velvet rope because you have this. The whole velvet rope is that.
Yeah, right. It's a rope.
Right. The whole velvet rope is symbolic of that. It's marketing. I'm going to put out this rope so that you got to stand behind it. And what is that trigger in your psyche? Oh, the elite must get in here because look at that. People are lined up to wait. And then when people get inside, they go, ain't nobody in here.
Yeah.
The psyche is they want to make you think, oh, I'm going to be special if I can get in here.
Right. Yep. That's right.
That's marketing 101.
Right.
Marketing 101 is to attack people's self-worth.
Yes.
So you can feel that they're nobody unless you have my product.
Yep. That's right. That's why to this day, I don't own a pair of Nike anything. Never bought it. And it's not because I didn't like the brand, only because everybody told me I had to have it. And you know me, I'm rebellious. If you tell me I got to do something, I ain't doing it. I stuck with my Converse and my N1s and everybody, I would be mocked. Oh, you don't have Michael Jordan's newest this and that. I said, listen, I don't need Michael Jordan sneakers to do what I do.
Right.
I'm walking around.
My thing is I don't knock quality. See, there's
Yes.
a difference. I don't knock quality. But what people don't know, again, is since I had, again, I had uncles who taught me about the whole wholesale thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so, the wholesale, the garment district, we was young, guys be pushing all these dresses in the street and all this kind of stuff. And they ain't got no labels in them yet. So, the whole thing of the manufacturer makes a bunch of dresses and buyers come and they order them.
Yep.
This is going to Macy's. This is going down to 14th Street, some discount store. The same dress.
Same thing, yeah.
The same thing. So what makes you think you're getting a better dress from Macy's? Marketing.
Yep. That's right.
The same dress is down on 14th Street for $8 and $80 at Macy's.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
And people get brainwashed to, oh, you got to fake. Fake? Because you know nothing about manufacturing. What fake? So let's talk from our line. Just take symbol bags. You had the symbol bag that says Zildjian, and then the company who manufactures started putting it out on their own. It was the same exact bag without Zildjian. The Zildjian bag was $30 more. For the same thing. What do they both do? Hold the goddamn symbols.
Hold the symbols. That's right. Yep. It's funny because I never brought name brand stuff because I couldn't afford it. I spent my money on the name brand sticks as opposed to the bags themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because I just simply couldn't afford it. Like you said, that extra $30, $40, $90 when I could pay $30 and it's doing the same job.
Right. I'm looking at quality. If you're looking at what people know, stitching and stuff like that, to go, bag is just as good as that bag. Y'all paying for it because somehow you think that's going to be it's special.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So check this out.
Yeah.
With the pandemic, and all this other stuff, and we was talking about this, where do you think the music industry, as far as playing out live for the immediate future, is going to head towards?
Ooh.
Like drive-ins and
right. Well, that, I've been seeing that, the drive-ins, but it's not enough out here to accommodate everybody. So again, the bigger names is getting that.
Yes.
And out of the bigger names, there'll probably be more country artists than anything.
Yes.
But I don't know. And so now with people rushing to get out, things are starting to shut back down again. Because I know on a smaller scale, here in Philly, once they started putting tables out, they started kind of hiring little units to entertain because every stuff's on the street. And so eventually you would have got back to some of the clubs. They would be limited with seating, but then maybe you just add more shows. If I can only put 50 in here at a time, then, you add an extra show. Since
right.
I mean, and that's just what it is right now, for artists who want to work. But with the back and forth, the live thing. But again, people are trying to make the best of it by going online and doing shows.
Yeah.
It's not the same,
No.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's funny, being an unplugged artist, you can kind of get away with it if you got a folk guitar, keyboard. Yeah. But that funk thing, we need to touch and just have people engulf it like we engulf them. That's what I miss the most, brother. I got to tell you. And we'll get ready to do some stuff this summer and, it'll come back. But I got to tell you, man, from my heart, that's the thing I miss the most. For those of you who don't know, this is my producer, Mr. Kevin Harrington. Just not mine, but everybody's. And that's where I actually record at his place where he is right now. And, I can't even get there because we're locked down now in North Carolina. We can't go in other states because our numbers spiked. I saw that the other day. Like, even if I wanted to come to New York or Philly, I can't come in unless I go on a 14-day quarantine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I guess they say that, but I'm like, yeah, okay, picture that.
Yeah. How are they going to enforce that? I can't even imagine.
Right. Yeah. Well, picture that from the people who was like out on the beach and didn't care then. So picture them
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll do it. Come on. It's like,
yeah.
You just gotta, again, protect yourself.
Yeah. Because we can't really be trusting what they're telling us from the word go anyway, you know. And I agree with you. Like you said, it's just a self thing where we as human beings just got to use common sense. It's not rocket science, like you said before, one of your statements. It's really not, I feel like I can't get to you, and I want to be up there so bad, man, because, writing, recording, and you got a hot tune coming out, that you actually did for Nappy Head, called Funk Up on the Hill. And, we got to finish that. And this music now that you've been doing, you kind of got that thing, that neo soul thing, that jazz thing, and you said it hit the charts. I think Baltimore, Philly. Tell us a little bit about that project, because it was just all you.
So that was my own thing, K-Tech project. What I did, that was Bass Roads and Groove.
Okay.
That's what I called it. And the cover actually has the house I grew up in, so that's where it all started for me. So that's what.
Sweet.
Where it all started. But again, when I do my own stuff, I don't like to stay in a category.
Right.
So when you listen to the project, it goes from smooth jazz, house to wherever I feel at the moment. And again, that's just me. That's how I listen to music. Like, I won't when I'm down here and I'm doing something, I'm playing other music. It'll go from Bird, to the friggin' Supremes. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing to Andre Crouch, because that's how I grew up listening to music. So
yeah,
that's how I prefer to write it. So my thing is, I didn't really want to. I don't know. It may sound crazy, but at some points, I don't want you to recognize my production. I don't want like I love Babyface production, right? I know it's him though.
Right. Okay.
Who else? There's people that when you hear it, you go, "Oh, that's such and such." Teddy Riley. I know when.
Right. Right.
And that's a great thing, but for me, I don't want you to know that.
Right.
Because it's like when you heard Cloud 9 and you find out that's me, but then when you hear Nancy Marie, you go, "Who did that?" And then they go,
right.
"Oh yeah, that was KJ." Really? Then you hear Groovalicious. Oh, who produced this stuff? Then you hear that KJ. Really? That's the same dude, but
right.
I don't want to sound the same. And that's just me. I didn't want to sound like I did all of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, I want to kind of like vibe the artist and do them.
Right.
Not do me. Because if I'm do me, then there's going to be a similarity to it. So like again, I love Babyface, but when you hear Tony Braxton, anybody else he does, you know he did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's him. So that's like he might as well be singing that himself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I love it. I love what he does. But again, as a producer, that's not what I wanted to do.
Right, right.
To be, who can I say, like Quincy Jones. Like you listen to Quincy stuff, but do you always know that it's him? There's people that, they hear stuff, they go, "I didn't know that was Quincy." Exactly. Yeah. But it was great production, right? Exactly.
That's right. That's right. Like when he did Barbra Streisand, people was like, "That's Quincy?" Remember that?
Right.
Yep.
That whole thing. So he deals with the music and the artist, not him.
Yeah. And that's slick, man. And that's a unique perspective coming from a cat in your position in the business. That's very unique. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because people need to hear that want to be inspired to be where you are now. And you know what's funny? Like, remember Pieces of a Dream when their first hit that they came out with, and it had that Earth, Wind, and Fire feel, but nobody had realized that Maurice had wrote that for them.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So, I don't know if that was the Joyride album.
Yes, it was the first one.
The tune that you would assume, because Lenny produced one side and Maurice produced the side. The tune that Lenny did, Maurice actually did it.
Right.
The middle one.
Yes.
Right.
Da.
So right away, you go, oh, Lenny did it. It's like, nah, Maurice did that. But then you gotta remember, Maurice comes from that. We know him from Earth, Wind and Fire, but Maurice was a straight drummer. You know,
yes.
Ramsey Lewis.
Ramsey, yes.
There's rare footage that I found of him playing.
Really, you gotta send it to me. You gotta send it to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I gotta see that.
I don't know that. Yep. So again, there's that drummer thing who moved up to the front mic. You know, we can get into that. You being one. You know, Narada finally got off the drum to start singing.
Yep. You know, we know.
Larry from Cameo. Yeah, there's a lot of
that.
Sheila E. Still get back there, but you know.
That's right.
That's right. That moved up and started singing. A very famous drummer, Earl Young, recording wise, people don't know his group was the Tramps. But Earl Young played drums on all the MFSB stuff.
Okay. Right, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yes, Earl, his wall is full of gold and platinum albums. You know, so all of that stuff, all that Philly sound stuff, it's probably Earl Young playing, and he started the Tramps, where he's, you know, singing. Right.
That's deep. I see a lot of that stuff I didn't know, because I never was really one to read too many of the credits unless I was interested in it. You know, when I and it's funny because the stuff that you do and have done and that are doing, you know, for me to have known you for 18 years has been an amazing journey, and I'm just scratching the surface with you, brother, because you mean a lot more to me. It's bigger than the music. You're my brother from another mother, you know, and there is no other.
You know, we done been through them dark days. That's what you do with people.
Yep, that's right. And we both have that thing in common. Our fathers were preachers.
Right. PKs.
And I don't know about you, but I rebelled early when my dad was like, all right, I'm going to give you the foundation. And I don't know, and I know you feel the same way. I'm glad he gave it to me because I was able to get back to it.
Right.
You know, he didn't just leave me.
He started preaching later, but, you know, we still was instilled. I mean, me, myself was saved at 13. So, you know, I've been in church my whole life.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, man, foundation, like we spoke on, foundation, you may stray away, but it's there.
It's there. You can't get away from it. You can run, but you can't hide. And I never knew what that meant until I had to come back into the presence of God. And I'm not ashamed to tell people that all the time. You and I talk about it. I try to promote it through the music. You help me write stuff that promotes it. In a spiritual kind of way, not religion, but spiritual, you know, where do you think the world needs to go? And not the obvious direction, but the local cat on the street that hasn't made up their mind yet about their spirituality, if they have any.
Well, that is personal. I don't like the group people, man. Everybody has to come to that themselves. You know what I'm saying? I won't be standing in judgment for that person when they come.
Yeah.
That's something you got to do on your own.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how much grandma tells you and blah, 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 you standing there by yourself on that day.
That's right. That's right.
You also have to come to it, you know. You know, it's like when people say they have to hit rock bottom. Everybody's rock bottom's a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My bottom may be much higher if we're going to look at it than somebody else's.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it didn't take me much to find this out. Some people, they go much, you know, like I know people who've been through the whole drug thing. To see them come back from that, you know, I highly respect that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I couldn't say that I would go as low as some of them I've seen, you know, before I learned. I can't say that because I never been on drugs. So I don't know how powerful that is.
Yeah.
To have an addiction because I don't have any.
Yeah, it's hard.
So I can tell you, you know, I just try to push the whole prevention thing. You know, I see that people have addictive natures. You know, it's not always drugs. Some people have other addictive natures, but you know, I can't speak on it because I've never, you know, had to deal with it. So I don't know how hard that is. Just as simple as somebody who smokes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't know. I ain't never been on it. Same way, it's like, why can't you just stop eating?
Yeah. Yep.
Liking
So
food,
tell me.
picking food is different. So.
Yep. So what advice would you have for a young producer coming up, young artist coming up that really want to break into the business in an independent way, and not so much, finding a label and getting music out, but just the art of making good music? What advice would you give to a young person?
Well, Zach, when we say good music now, we know that that's a
I know it's a lost art.
that's a matter of opinion. So
Yes.
I gotta leave it at that. It's a matter of opinion. What they consider good, what I consider good. So I ain't bumping heads on that. What they like. But again, learn the business. Learn the business. That's probably the best I could tell them is don't fall for the because there's a difference. Do you really like this? Do you love this because you love what you do, or you want to be famous? That's two different things.
Yeah.
Two different things. A lot of people making all the money ain't famous. Ain't trying to be. And there's a lot of people that are famous ain't making no money. So what do you want to do? But learn the business that you're going to be in, that you plan to be in, because we shouldn't have to keep watching Unsung to find out people didn't learn the business, and we know them. They famous. They got platinum records, and the money didn't come because they know the business.
Right.
Again, it's not hard. They got books on it. Of course, they probably know people who've been in the business. It's and that part hasn't changed.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to get you. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So, keep it.
Which is a shame. It's sad that it's got to be that way, but that's the way it's always been.
Right. And if you're gonna be independent, expect to put the work in. There's just no other way around that.
Yeah.
You gotta put the work in. It's like you do a track and you feel that it's hot. I ain't knocking it. Maybe it is hot, but you're not trying to sell it to yourself. Again, other people's opinion is gonna matter.
Mm-hmm.
You find people who love what you do, concentrate on them people.
Right. Find your niche.
Right. Don't concentrate on the 5 people go, I ain't like it. People do that. Oh man, everybody didn't like it. Yo, worry about the thousands that did like it. Not about the people who did.
Yeah.
Not be satisfied by it. Because it's like, do you like every song you ever heard come out? No. Same thing. I don't like some of my own stuff. I mean, to where people go, oh, I really like that. I ain't like it, but if you like it, I can't tell you not to like it because I ain't like it. Like
exactly.
It? You like it? Well, hey, it's for sale. You know what I'm
saying? Yep.
Again,
it's sell.
Learn the business.
Gosh. There's so much arrogance in this business, man, and I got to tell you, for all your accolades and things and awards, and you're such a down-to-earth brother, man. I remember when I first came to your studio and you have a photo with Muhammad Ali. And for like 10 minutes, I couldn't talk to you because I'm just looking at you with Muhammad Ali. And I think I was even afraid to ask you because we was getting ready to work, but you was doing something. And I finally got enough courage to ask you because you're such a quiet, humble brother. And believe me, you're like on the Mount Rushmore of producers, arrangers, writers, musicianship, and running your own business, being an entrepreneur, and all those good things that go with that, helping your family out and giving. And you're always giving of your time. There was never a time where I didn't reach out to this man where he didn't get back to me. Again, with Mr. Kevin Harrington, A&M Jams Entertainment. And, it's been a pleasure having you on Funk from the Front Seat. I know the times that we're in right now, but, I always pray and trust that we're going to get through it. Any parting shots or any parting words that you have of wisdom that you want to, let people out in the audience know?
Just use common sense and take care of yourself. You can't expect everybody to follow the rules. So, you got to you're in charge of your own life. So, and that's what they like to say. So if I don't want to wear the mask, I don't want to wear the mask. I can't make you do it.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to do it to protect myself.
Right.
That's it. And like you said, it's a spiritual thing. Get close to God. Whatever you need to do. walking around angry is not gonna make things better, but you can channel that anger to make you get involved in things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you angry at what's going on, get involved with an organization. You know, do something with it other than sit there and just be mad.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we're old enough to go, if that's all we did, you know, what would happen?
Yeah.
What would happen if we just stood there and like, oh man, since, you know, he's 12 years old, we just mad, you know, because of what's going on. You know, it's put it down on the pad, like Chuck says. You know, use something, just channel something, you know, something positive.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great way to approach this thing, because, you know, like you said, and I like how you keep mentioning it's individual. That's very important, because we all can't possibly be how others feel in each other's body, and I think we forget that at times, you know. And I'm glad, man. Thank you for always mentioning be an individual. If I take anything away from this conversation today, besides all the great inside stories, it's going to be that, because I think that's how we're going to get through this thing. You know, of course, be safe, you know, and social distancing, but it doesn't mean not live your life, you know.
Work together, but you are an individual.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, brother. You gotta wrap
all right, brother, man. Listen, I love you. Thank you for your time. It's been an awesome interview. You can find K&N Jams on Facebook, all the social media outlets, Instagram. Go to his website, check him out. This brother is extraordinary, and you know, and again, you know, I can't thank you enough. I'm humbled to know you as my brother, my friend, my mentor, my business partner. I love you with all my heart, brother, man. I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Got you, man, and no doubt. You know how we roll. We family. Peace.
Peace out.
Bump from the front seat, yo. Right here. What's going on? Kevin Harrington. This is his production. His arrangement. His writing. Make no mistake about that. Hope y'all had a good time today. IBM TV family. We love you. Life is getting harder in every way. When you come to it, everything's gonna be alright. With my sunglasses on, yo, so we can groove. It is going on. Up with the rising sun, one nation, a work to be done. Come on, all you voices, time to be your mind. This spiritual revolution for all of mankind. Are you down? Revolution! Comes from above. Eagles confusion ain't showing me no love. Money, pity, your thing and get you into heaven. Open up the book of life, Romans 10, 9-11. Come on, all you voices. Time to speak your mind. His spiritual revolution for all of mankind. Are you down with that? Revolution. You still got that bounce, brother. Are you down with that? Revolution really going on. Are you down? Going on. Are you down? The revolution's really going on. Yeah. Are you down? Yo, man, it's been a blast, brother. There you go. There you go. There you go. Get it. Get it. right. You come on the Sunday show, you can play all you want. Yo, for y'all that don't know, Kevin wrote that, helped arrange it, produce it, came out of his studio, just for Zachariah Cloud9. Yo, man, I love you with all my heart, brother. It's been cool. I'm gonna wait for Ankit and Kim to get back on, and we're gonna finish the rest of today's, Spiritual Sunday. Thank you, Funk from the Front Seat. It's been a beautiful day. Another beautiful show on IBM.TV. One of the best up and coming, most innovative funk shows and talk shows that you could have, as well as all of their platforms. And don't forget, stay tuned tomorrow. We got Mike P on Funk Music with Zach. He's gonna come on and do some stuff. He's out in Georgia, and he was Boosie's bass player, as well as working with the Goody Mob and all those people. So tune in tomorrow, 12 o'clock, same time. Again, K&N Jams Entertainment, Kevin Harrington, extraordinary, extraordinary brother, man. Is really, really cool. How you doing, Ankit?
That was a cool show, Zach.
Thank
we
you.
all are good
Appreciate
after listening to the great music. Everyone is dancing like
There you go. There you go. Do you have any questions for Kevin while he's still on?
So we would like to invite Kevin to India to do some shows in India to share the music with Indian people.
Okay.
But not right now after COVID.
Of course.
Not right now.
Of course.
Yeah, we got to get to India for sure, because we can bring some funk over there for sure.
Yeah. Funk with India.
Yes. And you guys would vibe because you're both technically in that zone. Because Ankit is one of the producers, Kev, behind the scenes. So he's my go-to. And I had to apologize. The other day I called him. It was 2 o'clock in the morning over there. And he answered my question. But he's so kind-hearted. He said, I don't have to remind you. It's 2 a.m. I was like, oh. I was like, I'm sorry.
So that's how we are connected. We don't see time. We can just call to anyone at any point of time. That's how we are on IBM.
Yes, it's good. I felt, believe me, and I keep apologizing. I must apologize 10 times. I felt so bad. I felt horrible.
That's all right. And thank you guys for joining us. And it's time to wrap up the show. And Zach, we have to join on the other show.
Yes,
in the meantime, keep running here. So thank you, Kevin, and thank you for joining us. Stay at home, stay safe, and stay healthy, and try to follow the precautions during this pandemic. And we are one, and we are one family. That's what we have motto on IBM TV, and that's the power of media. And then we try to share the best practices, and also the power of creating a positivity around the world.
Yes. Okay, brother.
Yes,
no one is right. It's all about right.
Yes. All about right.
Live and let live. And this is our gestures to thank you to all our viewers for joining us. And Zach, let's join on the other show. We'll have to wrap up. So thank you and have a good day.
I'll get on the link right. I'll get on that link right now. Take care, Kev. I'll call you tonight.
All right.
All right, brother. Take care, man. All right.